Hi and welcome to round 5 of the XRL European Super League. So the league is starting to take shape now, and we're going to see who are going to be the teams to be watching out for the rest of the season. On today's programme, we have key highlights from our main game of the day, Everton versus Galatasaray at Goodison Park. We also see if our 100% record team AS Roma could maintain that in their 5th game of the season versus Real Sociedad. And we see the rest of the games, including how Schalke got on at Wolfsburg, to see if they can maintain the pressure on the teams at the top. But first we go over to our main game of the day between Everton and Galatasaray at Goodison Park. This was a great game involving two teams right at the top of the table. Galatasaray have only lost one game so far this season, whereas Everton have been unbeaten in their first 4 games. Off to our commentary crew, Martin Tyler and Alan Smith.
Hi there, I'm Martin Tyler. Alan Smith is with me. We should have a fine game for you today. The first game of the season between these two great rivals, and there should be many great seasons to come.
Yeah, and this contest might tell us a bit more about how this season's going to pan out.
And the opponents come in strongly. And here is a chance for Everton from a corner. Let's see this one more time, the effort from Wesley Schneider. Taco! And just flies wide of the post.
Yeah, and good movement in the box.
It's a return ball.
Opportunity here, struck it on the volley. Brilliant shot, top corner, top class.
What a volley that is, certainly the best we've seen out here today, and the keeper clawing at thin air.
Ross Barkley. This could be a chance. Got to be. Wouldn't have thought he could have put it that far wide from that position. On the replay here. Here's Eto. It's Everton's turn to attack. Morales. Here's the chance. Made the Samuel Eto'o, and they've got in to score here. It's offside, that's what the assistant has said.
Well, when he looks back on that, I think he might be a bit disappointed, because the striker seemed to time his run really well.
This is going to clear it up for us, Alan, I think.
Well, looking at the goal scorer, he was convinced he'd timed his run, but looking at it, that's a great decision by the assistant.
But it's time now for the start of the second half. McCarthy. In with a chance. Saved it. Everton needing this corner to count for them to draw level. And he's got the ball well to set his team on the front foot by intercepting. Well, he could be in. Got to be. Still in play here. Lukaku. Could be dangerous. Nicely lined up for the set-piece specialist here with this free kick. Oh, it's a terrific free kick. And the goalkeeper given absolutely no chance.
Always going to be in a promising...
Ross Barkley. Wesley Schneider. Here's better. Well, he's been given the ball, really. Didn't have to do too much to get it. It's a poor pass. What a chance here. Got to be. Well, kept the shot out. It's still in play. Very far forward today. I think the defenders have had him in their pockets.
Yeah, I mean, he ran around, but the quality wasn't there. When the ball was played up, he couldn't hold it up. His touch let him down far too often.
This will be a decision for the match official today, Dietmar Schönleber. Going to get yellow here, Alan?
Yeah, I think so. None of us were expecting anything but that.
Keeps it going. In with a chance. Off the post. Well, neither side could get the decisive goal. There it is, the game is over, and the final score is 1-1.
Right, so that was our main game of the day between Galatasaray and Everton at Goodison Park. And in the box with me tonight is Jay Pearce, the Real Sociedad manager. Good evening, and what do you make of that game? 1-1.
It was a fairly even game, in my opinion. Everton had the better of the chances. They could have scored another, especially from the second free kick, but it was a good 1 point for both teams.
Yeah, it keeps Valencia's Everton unbeaten so far this season after 6 games. Only 2 wins and 4 draws in that, but unbeaten nonetheless, proving that they're a difficult side to beat on their day.
Yeah, any team wants to stay unbeaten throughout the whole season. I mean, there's very few teams that are doing it so far. What, 2, 3 maybe? So it's a very, very good thing. It might not be picking up the max amount of points they can, but they're important points nonetheless. And it keeps them near the top of the table.
Yes, it's only them and Roma at the minute, so they're doing very, very well. Roma obviously winning all their games, and Everton also unbeaten, keeping themselves in the hunt for the playoff places. So in that game, what were the main talking points of the game? Obviously 1-1, obviously you had both goals, but was there anything else to sort of take from it?
Not really I can think of. There was a free kick which could have been converted, as I mentioned earlier, from Everton late on in the game, but apart from that, I can't really think of much more. There's quite a few opportunities from interceptions midway through the game. There was quite a few losses of possession sloppily, so a team could have capitalised that on either way, but they didn't. So point to point, they'll take it.
And what do you make of Galatasaray so far this season? They've had a bit of an up and down season. They've started quite well, but just sort of tailing off at the moment. Is it just the fact that they're having harder games, or do you think the games have been kind to them at the start and now they're actually finding it a bit more difficult?
Games are starting to get harder for most teams. I mean, Galatasaray, they had an unbeaten run for I think 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, but they've come on hard times at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think they'll get through it. I think they'll see a good chance of a playoff place. So it's going to be an up or down season for them. They could end up mid-table. They could end up playoffs. That's my prediction for where they're going to finish.
Okay, well, just having a look at the match stats, it was 1-1. Both teams having a lot of shots, 11 to Everton to Galatasaray's 9, so both teams having a lot of efforts on goal. Shots on target was 7-4 in Everton's favour, and the possession was very close as well, so it did seem quite a close match as well, and it's quite a surprise that maybe there wasn't more goals in the game, with 20 shots on target, or no, not on target, 20 shots in the game. It's quite surprising that there wasn't more goals or more serious chances.
Yeah, I mean, you got to expect more clinical finishing from the teams in the future, because they're taking quite a few shots out from range, wasteful chances. They could have tried getting a little bit closer, maybe trying to get inside the box, then take the shot. and rather than waste possession and just shoot from around about 30 yards out, hoping.
Yeah, that's right. That's maybe half the reason why there is so many shots, because sometimes people try and go a little bit ridiculous with the long shots. But both teams have interesting Week 6 fixtures. I'm just having a look now, and Everton have got Wolfsburg at home again, so that should be a reasonable game, whereas Galatasaray have a very interesting fixture against Tottenham Hotspur, who are second in the league at the moment. Starting with Everton, I suppose, versus Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg have had a shaky start to the season, a bit of both. Who do you see coming out on top of that one?
It depends on whether Wolfsburg show up on the day, because Wolfsburg, they've had an up and down season, as you said. They had an 8-1, a 4-2. They've also won games. They've also got one goal in it, and they've stolen games. Look at the second game against Porto. Just one header from Naldo. They won the match. That's all you need, just one thing. So
exactly.
I think if Killers turns up, then it could be an even game. Though I'm going to say it will be most likely Everton to win the match. And I'm going to say by maybe 2 goals.
Galatasaray and Tottenham, that is a massive game as well. 2 big teams right at the top of the table, so that's not going to be an easy game for Spurs. But again, do you see them nicking it based on today's performance from Galatasaray, or who do you think could be the team who wins that game?
It depends on who takes the chances. I mean, Galatasaray, they do have great build-up play. They build up from the back. They control the ball. But the thing is, when you got teams like Tottenham, I mean, Tottenham, they can also do that. They can run through the defence. They've scored some great goals this season. So it's an even match. I'm going to say Tottenham to win. I mean, Tottenham, they appear to, they're struggling with strikers at the moment. I think they're going with Harry Kane at the moment, because they're not liking Adebayor and Soldado.
Yeah, but he's firing in the goals
for them. It's working for Spurs, but I'm not sure I've had him as number 1 myself, but he's getting the goals for them. He's getting the wins. That's what they need.
Yeah, you can't argue whilst they're winning, but can they keep it up in the coming weeks? That's the question. Anyway, that's enough from our main game today. We've got a few more games. One of them was actually a forfeit, and the other one we didn't get a video replay from. So we've got 5 games out of the 7 that we can show you, starting between our league leaders and 100% record holders so far, AS Roma, as they go and take on your team, Real Sociedad. This was actually quite an interesting game, plenty of goals, and a great way to start the highlights. Our first game comes between 2 sides who have had rather contrasting starts to the season. AS Roma with a 100% start to the season compared to Real Sociedad, who have had a draw, 2 defeats and a win to the start of the season. But it was the away side, Sociedad, having a great chance, Castro having a shot and Vela nearly getting on the rebound there from the goalkeeper. Though just a few minutes later, AS Roma took the lead, Niangolan with a great strike from just outside the area to make it 1-0 to the home side, and a great start to their 5th game of the season. As the first half went on, Roma looked very, very strong, and Gervinho having a shot on goal there, nearly working, but the clearance was very poor from the Real Sociedad team. Mattia Destro getting a great finessed effort into the top left-hand side of the goal to make it 2-0 inside the first 30 minutes of the game. It couldn't be any worse for Real Sociedad, but it was just 3 minutes later when Gervinho rounded the keeper and finished coolly despite the defender running back to make it 3-0. This was becoming quite a rout here. At the start of the second half, it was 4-0. Kevin Strootman shimmying back onto the inside, getting on his left foot and finessing to make it 4-0. This was becoming, well, Real Sociedad were sinking without a trace essentially, but they did spark a short comeback, 4-1 inside the 49th minute. There was a flurry of goals in this game, and all of a sudden Real Sociedad had a lifeline. Vela was played through in the 57th minute here. He had a one-on-one with the keeper and he coolly put it through the legs to make it 2-0. And maybe the away fans were thinking maybe they could nick something out of this game against the side who are top of the table. But with just 13 minutes left, Roma had one more hammer blow for the away side Real Sociedad. Gervinho rounding the defender, passing to Pjanic in the centre, and he coolly finishes away. And that's how it finished here between AS Roma and Real Sociedad. 5-2 to the home side, who maintain their 100% record. Our next game comes between two German sides who have had contrasting starts to the season. Wolfsburg having a bit of a mixed start, whereas Schalke have been growing in confidence with every game after their opening day defeat to Napoli. And in the early stages it looked like goalkeeping errors may make it an easy game for Schalke, but a great save after a bad goal kick allowed Wolfsburg to breathe a huge sigh of relief. In the 18th minute, Sidney Sam getting past his man despite lagging conditions and just dragging his shot onto the post, but Schalke in control of this game in the early stages. Wolfsburg getting back into the game in the 32nd minute, however. Perisic cutting in, making a bit of a run, and the keeper made a great save, and what was even better is he made a great double save from Ivica Olic's header. In the 39th minute, the lagging conditions were at this stage dreadful, but a great through ball attempt here into Kevin De Bruyne and a defensive mix-up allowed the chip to hit the post there, and Felipe Santana scoring an own goal. De Bruyne actually taking it as the goal, although it probably should have been an own goal. 1-0 to the home fans, and they'd have been quite surprised after their first half performance. Schalke have shown great resilience this season, however, and nearly made it 1-1 in the second minute of the second half, hitting the side netting there from Jefferson Farfan. They were not to be denied much longer, however. Sidney Sam running through on goal, had a chance to make a shot, turns and then coolly finishes in the left-hand corner of the goal. The lag actually didn't mean to do that, but being the game with a lot of lag, it actually helped him score a goal there. Farfan got through on goal in the 65th minute to make it 2-1, and the first time the away side had the lead in this game. A great goal from the Peru international, who's starting to score quite a few goals for the club in this competition. Farfan turned provider in the 74th minute, and Sidney Sam wrapped up the points. Well, he tried to, but he couldn't quite make it count. The shot coming back to Kevin Prince Boateng, who was saved, and then Sidney Sam finishing it off to make it 3-1 to the away side. They're now third in the league table and are starting to really grow in confidence. One of the Premier League's biggest sides now, trying to keep close tabs on our league leaders, AS Roma. They had a home game against Sevilla, who have been struggling this season without a win at this stage of the season after 4 games. And at the early stages, it looked as if that may continue there. A shot well saved by Beto, the Sevilla keeper. Paulinho trying to have a shot up from the resulting corner, making all the way to the back post before, well, pretty much into the side netting. As the first half went on, it was rather equal, neither team really having many great chances, but in the 49th minute, Soldado shimmying to get him away from the defenders. He had a little bit of a challenge on him, but the referee waved to play on, and he made it 1-0 with a simple shot. Harry Kane then twisted inside and out, confusing the Sevilla defenders to make it 2-0 just 8 minutes later with a well-placed finish. And as it got towards the end of the game, Tottenham were in control. A bit of a bad goal to concede from Sevilla's point of view, but Harry Kane bagged his brace, and Spurs have definitely become a better side since he's been in the fold this season. It finished 3-0 here between these two sides, and Sevilla have got a lot of work to do for the rest of the season. Our penultimate game comes between two sides who have had, again, indifferent starts to the season. Milan been a bit hit and miss, whereas Zenit St. Petersburg have had a reasonable start, accruing 7 points over the first 4 games, and they looked to make it 10 points after 5, with a great goal from the Brazilian international Hulk after just 7 minutes. AC Milan tried to get a chance on goal from this corner in the 30th minute, Armero just headering wide. For the remainder of the first half, it was more Zenit St. Petersburg, and Danny had this great shot on the stroke of half-time, and the keeper just making a great save and managed to catch the rebound before the striker headed it in. as the second half went on. Zenit St. Petersburg had another great chance, hitting the post from just outside the area with a finessed effort. In truth, this was all about Zenit St. Petersburg this game. AC Milan tried and tried to forge away, but couldn't really create too many chances. And again, another great chance from Hulk there, but it remained 1-0 to the away side. AC Milan have been struggling so far this season, whereas Zenit St. Petersburg climb up into 4th place in the league table. Our final game of our highlights today comes from Bayer Leverkusen versus Valencia. Valencia having a bit of an indifferent start to the season, whilst Bayer Leverkusen picked up their first win last week. Could they make it 2 in a row? Well, it started in the worst possible manner for them. A great through ball finding Rodrigo. Rodrigo shot hitting the post, but he made the rebound before the defenders and the goalkeeper, making it 1-0 inside the first 3 minutes. Bayer Leverkusen did have chances of their own, though. Dermich finding Stefan Kiesling, who managed to just get round past his man, making a shot and making the keeper make a save inside the first 12 minutes. Javi Fuego made it even difficult for the away side to keep their lead with this reckless challenge, slide tackling through the back of Stefan Kiesling, deservedly being a red card. Bayer Leverkusen was starting to get more and more into the game with the numerical advantage, but not really ever testing the goalkeeper, not that much anyway, until the last minute of the first half, where a great little through ball chip from Dermich finding Hilbert, who forced a save, but in the end, pretty routine save from the goalkeeper and not really a testing shot. In the second half, it was more about how well Valencia managed the game with 10 men, and they doubled their advantage in the 64th minute with a great goal from Parejo. And that is how it remained here. Bayer Leverkusen not really having too many efforts in the remainder of the game to try and get something out of it. And the home fans will be disappointed that they played so averagely against 10 men in this game. 2-0 to the away side Valencia. Right, so those were our highlights from all of our other games, as I mentioned. 2 games which we didn't have. That was the Inter Milan, Porto and Liverpool-Napoli games. But starting at the top, we have AS Roma beating your team, Real Sociedad, 5-2. A really eventful game. And you didn't play too bad. Had some good moves in there. So
I mean, it's...
Is it just the fact that you're playing against a team top of the table and they're on absolute fire at the moment, I suppose?
They have got a run going. I mean, it could have been different. Maybe if they hadn't been on such a run, they got such momentum going into every game that, to be fair, you can't really bet against them winning. So it's a difficult game to come up against, especially sort of near the beginning of the season when they are on a run like this, undefeated and all. But we can take some heart from it, Sociedad, because we created chances. It's top of the table, and we've got 2 goals. I mean, we've kept our little streak of scoring a goal a game at least. So that's something I can definitely be proud of, and the team will be hoping to build upon that and possibly get some more wins.
Yeah, there are definite positives there for sure. What makes AS Roma the team that they are at the moment? For me, I play against the manager. I love Jigsaw's and his Roma side quite a bit, but for me, I think it's just the fact that he finds a lot of great through ball chips through the middle, and then he has the players at the top who can finish the goals. But I don't know how, whenever you've seen him play, what makes him stand out from the rest and make him unbeaten so far?
It's the distributions, as you said. It's the way he can just pick out a pass. He can just find players where you wouldn't find them. And he's also got quite a few pacey players as well. So the likes of Gervinho can run after a ball and just complete it, and then can just get into someone like Pjanic, who seems to score quite regularly for him as well. So, or Destro as well. 2 great players for him there. So
yeah, definitely.
He's just kept the form going. If he keeps it up, well, you never know. I can see him dropping points soon. He's got the likes of Tottenham coming up. Also, your Schalke as well. I mean, there's some tough games near the top that he's got to play. I mean, he's played he's played Killers. He's played some low-down sides. He also played Porto, who gave him a good run for his money, and I've got them next week, so that's going to be a bit of a fun match. But it's going to be interesting to see how they get on from here.
Yeah, it definitely does surprise me with Roma that the fact that they've got players like Iturbe, who's got really quick pace. he's on the bench. I mean, he doesn't even get a game at the moment. And Lialic as well, who scored a couple of goals against Wolfsburg on the opening game. I think he scored 3 even. I think he got a hat-trick. He's the first hat-trick scorer in the league. And he's not getting a game either at the moment. And it's quite surprising that they seem to have good strength and depth. But going on to the second game, and that was AC Milan and Zenit St. Petersburg. Zenit nicking a 1-0 win in this game. And going up in the league table to 4th place in the standings. It was a close game, but AC Milan, what do you make of them?
AC Milan, they've had some good games this season. They've been tight. They've had some very close matches. So they are what, mid-table at the moment, I believe. So
they are pretty much
they're not
mid-table,
doing bad
yeah.
for themselves. They're keeping in matches and they're actually racking up some points to stay above the bottom lots like myself at the moment. So it's they seem to be a very mid-pack team, so they could go either way, up or down. So I'd probably say they're going to go down a little bit, but not too close to the relegation zone personally.
Well, I won't spoil it for the viewers about what happened in their following game. But next is Bayer Leverkusen and Valencia, and well, another defeat for Bayer Leverkusen, putting them very, very close to the bottom of the league table. And a 2-0 defeat to Valencia against 10 men as well. The red card coming in at 1-0, I believe it was. And they still managed to get a second goal, Valencia. So, is there problems at Bayer Leverkusen? I mean, what are they lacking that makes them not win games? I don't quite understand. They seem to have good play at times, but they're not getting the results.
I mean, they have too many. In my opinion, they have quite a few errors, unnecessaries. They just don't. They play well, but they have moments of madness at times where just people were able to get down the pitch and just get lucky goals. I mean, look at me last week. My team, the first goal for us, it was a shot and it's just looped over the keeper after he saved it and crept in. I mean, they've got unlucky this season. They've had some hard games. I mean, I think they were bottom a bit back, and they fought back, and well, you never know. They could survive, but they need to get some big wins against teams near them to do that, and they've already started that with Sociedad. So you never know.
You never know. They need to definitely start picking up the wins, that's for sure. Going to our next game, and that was Tottenham and Sevilla. Tottenham running out easy, comfortable 3-0 winners in that game in the end. Again, Sevilla, another one of those sides that seem to have, chances in the game. They've got decent players. Backers are good up front for them. They've got a good couple of centre midfielders in there as well. But getting outclassed by Tottenham in that game, does that show that XRL Stewart, the manager of Tottenham's, doing a good job and that they deserve to be where they are in the league in second place? Or is that just a matter of Sevilla being the team which people think that they are, and that's a walkover?
Sevilla aren't exactly a walkover. They've got the likes of Bakker, they've got Aspas, 2 great players who can change a game for them. I mean, it can work for them. They just need to find the formation, find the passing, and they definitely need to work on their defending. I mean, they seem to have struggled with that all season. I mean, it's been an issue, so they need to sort out something in defence to make it work for the team, because otherwise they might concede more and more, which isn't going to help their chances of survival.
No, that's right. And the final game between Wolfsburg and Schalke, the all-German tie in this week's games. Schalke running out 3-1 winners in the end after taking a pretty unfortunate first goal. An own goal from, I believe it was Felipe Santana, led to that. But Wolfsburg have gone loss, win, loss, win, loss. So hopefully they'll go and win their next game. I think the manager will definitely be needing it, only 6 points after the first 5 games. But going on to Schalke, they're starting to pick up a good little run of form at the moment. They're 4 games unbeaten. They're on 10 points after their opening game defeat to Napoli. How do you see them as a side going forward and going into the next few weeks' fixtures? They've got a few big games.
They've got a few big games. I mean, they should have a easiest a time against Leverkusen next week, but You never know. There could be a shock in store, but unlikely. I mean, if they get a good striker, someone who's... Because Huntelaar's just not performing. Huntelaar is just not performing for him. And they've got great wingers in Sydney, Sam and Farfan. But the striker just isn't performing. If they just need to find someone else, because I don't think that he is the man for the job, Huntelaar. He's just not putting it out for him.
He looks a bit out of sorts, that is true. And he actually didn't start in the Schalke game in that last one. They went without him. And, well, it paid off for them this time. So maybe they'll be looking to get... I think the manager will be hoping that the online squads benefits him and they get a decent striker up front in the January transfer window. But who knows, who knows. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me tonight. It's been good to go through all of the games and our main game between Everton and Galatasaray, and we hope that Sociedad do well throughout the rest of the season because they've definitely got some good players.
Yeah, no, we need to just pick up form at the moment. I mean, Vela's performing all right, but he needs to pick up his game. Castro seems to be the main man for us at the moment, but it's been great commentating with you, and thank you very much for having me.
We should do it more often.
Exactly.
We should do it more often. Right, so let's have a look at the league table. And AS Roma have had a perfect start to the season. 5 wins from 5 with a plus 16 goal difference puts them 5 points clear of the next 3 teams ahead of them. Tottenham Hotspur have a superior goal difference ahead of Schalke and Zenit St. Petersburg, with Schalke being the big gainers this week. Everton being big losers, losing 3 places in the league after their 1-1 draw puts them in P5 in the league, with their just ahead of their rivals Liverpool in 6th in the final playoff place. Galatasaray are on 8 points as well, with Valencia just behind them on 7 points. AC Milan are on 6th, with also VfL Wolfsburg, who lost 3-1 this week. Inter Milan picking up their first win of the season thanks to a forfeited game, go P11 on 5 points, just ahead of Napoli, who have been big losers since their opening day victory against Schalke, dropping down the table very, very quickly. Real Sociedad just hovering above the relegation zone on 4 points, ahead of Bayer Leverkusen, who lost this week 2-0 at home to Valencia. Porto haven't mustered a win since the new manager has come in charge in week 3, and are on 3 points, with FC Sevilla bottom of the league without a win after the first 5 games. We hope you've enjoyed watching the highlights, and we will be back for more highlights in week 6 with our one main game and the rest of the games, goals and highlights. See you then.